What is something only a wealthy person would know? What are some interesting, creepy topics to look into? When did you realize you married the wrong person? One day, I realized I had become a smaller version of myself. That's kinda deep, actually. If you think about it for too long, you might get sad. On the wedding day, she spent a fortune on unnecessary things, and I knew I'd be the one fitting the bill on the credit card she ran up. So I told her no more. She said she wanted an ice cream vendor there. We already had 2 dessert bars. Told her it was not needed. She fought me on it, but finally agreed. Wedding day comes, I'm standing with my groomsmen. In comes the ice cream truck. Knew right then, sadly, when I realized if we weren't dating, I wouldn't have wanted to be his friend. I realized that I was hiding good news from her because I knew she would make me feel bad about it. I hoped she was going to grow up and stop being selfish and childish. She never did. When he was messaging a side chick on our wedding day, and boy, did it go sideways from there. Sideways as in you canceled the wedding, please? Maybe, hopefully. When I came home from the ER after being diagnosed with a severe lung disorder, and she immediately left me with the kids so she could go out drinking with friends. Her exact words were, "I need you to make them dinner. I'm running late to meet up with everyone." If it came out that we were 100% living in a simulation, what would be the biggest indicator looking back? I mean, probably the amount of microtransactions. Like, God, you gotta get like a season pass just to live in an apartment. The USB plug's still the wrong way after you turn it over. I can't remember what it's called, but the scientific phenomenon of particles and photons behaving differently when observed. They aren't being coded into the environment if no player is observing that area. Never forget the dancing plague of 1518. Probably devs were installing a new mod or something. Going into a room and forgetting what I was gonna do. We're Sims and they canceled the action. Outer space not having sound. Very convenient, dear devs. Very convenient. Do you really want proximity chat in space? It's nice to mute others once in a while. Who's controlling me and why did you make me so awkward? Dreaming. What about dreaming makes you think it's a simulate, just because of what you see in your dreams or the fact that we do it? I can sometimes think of a movie or a song and that bee either shows up in some form on my suggestions or my actual television. No. See, that's not because we're in a simulation, it's because of late stage capitalism. We've got the algorithms for you. People who work at super fancy hotels, what kind of stuff happens that management doesn't want people to know about? I'm guessing some murder here and there. It's pretty common to have a dead guest. There's a standard procedure for it, and we take care of it quietly. During housekeeping, hotels use different colored cloths to wipe your drinking glasses, cutlery, toilets, and sinks to avoid contamination. They just didn't bother separating these cloths after wiping and moving to the next room. Ew, I don't like that. We take notes on your reservation profile. Everything from anniversary information to fave cocktails and foods. Add notes to pass along to other staff. The amount of sex toys left behind will blow your mind. That's not the only thing it's blowing. I sure hope so, at least. $2K per night, and this place has a serious rat problem. Sometimes things that are more expensive are worse. Worked at the Luxor Casino in Vegas while I waited to go to film school. People piss and under the gambling tables. Ew! I guess some people want a jackpot no matter how they get it. We turn a blind eye to drug dealers and prostitutes more often than you think. They hardly complain and usually prepay huge bonds happily. Also, we don't give a crap if you're having an affair. We have a secret way in from the parking garage that leads to the executive offices. It's, for Unfortunately, that makes a lot of sense. Straight men, what's the most homosexual thing you've done? And then I have a follow-up question, will you do it to me? Join the Navy. Their motto is, not gay if underway, or it's only queer at the pier. Oh, I don't think that's the official motto, but okay. I have a buddy that, when a bit tipsy, will run up and kiss me on the cheek whenever he sees me. I don't see him do this to anyone else, so that's kinda strange, but I have to admit to kinda looking forward to it now. Aw, it's just guys being dudes. Old high school locker room games of gay chicken. The problem was some of those guys were bi-curious, and the rest of us were stupid. Took a selfie with a friend while kissing to set his home screen on a third friend's iPad. Did you like it though? Did you like kissing your little boyfriend? Besides sex with men, probably the 8 years of musical theater. Wait, are you gay or not? I told my previous neighbor I'd pound him in the butt if he blocked my my driveway again with his truck. Well, Uncle Custer, did you? Promised my best friend that we'd kiss upon graduating high school. Did it in front of all our friends at graduation party for lols. He was best man at my wedding, to a female, last year. You didn't really need to clarify the to a female part, but I guess whatever works. Checked if my fingernails had dirt under them with my palm facing out rather than in. That's not even like a... whatever. What is the stupidest thing you've heard someone say that they were 100% serious about? At one of my first jobs as a graphic designer, a client called me into his office and pulled up a photo he took. He then asked me if I could turn it around. No, not rotate it, but turn the viewpoint around. He wanted to see what was behind the camera when he originally took the photo. God, I have so many stories from that job. A guy I worked with said that a football referee runs over the distance of a marathon during a game. I pointed out that a football game was only 90 minutes long and that the marathon record was just over 2 hours, so that would be impossible. He said it was possible because a football referee changes direction a lot during a game and it all adds up. That's not really how time works. At age 27, my friend said that he had gotten into a fight with his girlfriend because he knew that his parents didn't have to have sex to conceive him. His mom got pregnant with him because they got married. Oh no, oh brother, oh. Yeah bro, it says carbonated because they removed the carbs. While standing in line at a drugstore. Best eavesdrop of my life. English teacher here. Once while showing my class the Leonardo DiCaprio version of Romeo and Juliet, I had a student stare at the screen in utter confusion for half the movie because she said, "How can he be in this movie? He died in Titanic." A professor in college refused to give back our tests because you should know what you did wrong. Oh, so that's just not how things work, so the professor should be fired. How can Hawaii and Alaska have such different temperatures when they are right next to each other on the map? Like, the more time passes, the more I know the education system's failing. I don't have an email, I have a Gmail. Frick call center work. I was on a date at an art museum. The painting tag said who it was made by, the title, and made circa 1600. And she said, "Do you think the Earth was even around back then? You just really never know." What screams poorly educated? The inability to understand nuance. Everything's very simple and easy to understand, and they think you're mental if you try to describe the shades of gray. Choosing to hate something they don't know anything about. Treating people who speak with an accent like they are ignorant or inferior. These people are literally communicating to you in a second language to them. Reading a headline and thinking you know the whole story. I will admit I've done this a few times, but sometimes it's just because it's funnier. A refusal to admit that you're wrong or don't know something. An inability to objectively analyze something. An article, an opinion, etc. Everybody that calls me a loser. Don't worry, I don't think you're a loser. I think you're a loser, but that's different. Bragging about not reading. I will never understand flat earthers. You can literally see the curvature of Earth depending on where you are. Nah, but when I walk outside, it looks like a flat road to me, so it's gotta be flat all around. Wait, round? What's the laziest/easiest way you've lost weight? Oh, so my strategy recently has been poor. I'm poor, that's the thing. Stop drinking soda. Only been about 5 to 6 months, but none of my pants stay on anymore without a belt. I've also kind of cut out soda for the most part. I make exceptions here and there because I'm a baby, but cutting soda does really help lose some pounds. Got Invisalign. I stopped snacking throughout the day because I was too lazy to take the retainers out. VR games. I bought my kids Quest headsets for Christmas and accidentally lost 10 pounds playing when the kids were asleep. Got myself one and lost another 30 pounds playing Beat Saber. VR does what Wii Fit thought it was going to do. Stopped drinking beer last summer. Lost 15 pounds in 6 weeks. Started drinking again in the fall. Gained it all back. It is a cruel mistress. Unsubscribing my DoorDash membership. Probably just a good decision in general for the finance aspect. Sometimes I'm too lazy to make dinner and just have sleep instead. I'm not advocating that you do this at all because it is not healthy and it is not good, but I do this often and it is terrible. Salmonella. I lost 6.5 kg in 7 days. Well, sickness isn't the best way to lose weight. Intermittent poverty is good, and experiencing a major depressive episode are my go-to for what it's worth. What one mistake ended your career? Lifting wrong. 14 years of arboriculture coming to an end now. Not sure of the next job. Called the HR lady the angel of death to a coworker on chat. HR was in a different state, so anytime they came to town, we all knew it was most likely to lay off people. Angel of death came to get me shortly after. Built a castle out of Christmas chocolate biscuit boxes in the warehouse of a major retailer on a night shift and proceeded to fall asleep in it for a few hours. Well, that'll do it. Browsing for another job while at the job. I don't know if that's really grounds for being fired. Not exactly a career, but I worked in a fast food spot that didn't have any air conditioning, and there's a workers' law where I live that states once it gets to a certain temp in the building, they legally can't stay open. I brought a thermometer to work. A little ridiculous you got fired for that because you're just trying to, make sure they're following the law. I sent a scathing email about my boss directly to my boss. It wasn't meant for him. To this day, I still have no idea what possessed me to put his name in the address bar. I noticed his name the exact moment I hit send. You have never felt that much panic. A guy I worked with was caught stealing 2 cigarettes from a colleague's bag. Was on a 6-figure salary. Not anymore. What type of human behavior will you never understand? People who need to watch what their neighbors do all the time. Find a better hobby. The anger and indignity at being proven wrong but never changing your opinion. Well, that's mostly because nobody has humility anymore. People who make insane messes in public restrooms. It's gotta be intentional, right? Like, there's no reason poo-poo should be on the ceiling and wall. People who get an animal and then intentionally neglect or abuse it. Like, why? Years working in animal rescue, I've seen it all, and it's made me hate humans. People playing loud music on public transit. Okay, so we're all in agreement that once guillotines start getting used again, we put those people in first. People who think it's okay to litter. Is it so hard to hold on to your gross little trash bag until you get to a trash can? Is it so hard talking on speakerphone while in public? Scammers, especially against the elderly. I don't care if it's an easy, quick buck because, old people don't know how the internet works. Don't do it. Just don't do it. Don't do it. People who have 4+ kids. Why? My wife and I have 2 kids together. My sister has 2 kids. She decided she'd rather not take care of them. So I've had them for the last 10 years. I've been raising 4 kids for the last 10 years, even though I only have 2 with my wife. Happy Father's Day, all you fellow dads. God bless you, poop shanks, and I'm so sorry you're related to that woman. I needed a solid D&D group that can't bail. Interesting strategy. I mean, let us know if it works. My former coworker. She only wanted 2, so after baby 1, she and her husband went to make baby 2. They ended up with baby 2, 3, and 4. Yep, naturally conceived triplets. Husband got a vasectomy after that. Not to brag, but we had sex 4 times, and it's the last time you'll ever have that if you keep talking about it online. Family of 6. My parents didn't want us to be lonely. Joke's on them. We're estranged from each other, and I don't even know where some of my siblings live. Yeah, joke's on you, Mom and Dad. Not a parent, but I have 4 siblings. 4 of us from my mom, and I have a sister from my dad. I think most of us were just mistakes that my mom kept. LMAO. The TV is broken. Okay, I guess I'll just imagine what this means. What urban legend needs to die? That if you swallow gum, it takes 7 years to digest. If that were actually the case, I would probably be dead from like an impaction because I just swallowed gum non-stop as a kid. Detoxing treatments. No, Sharon. Harmful chemicals are not just going to ooze out of your face and feet if you use that mask. That's not how the human body works at all, damn. That you need to wait 24 hours to report someone as missing. You can and should report someone as missing as soon as they go missing. It could be the difference between finding someone who had a bad fall at home or getting lost in the forest and finding their body. You can't get STDs from oral sex. One of the clinics I work at is a free sexual health clinic. Too many women are in there for mouth/throat/other digestive problems stemming from unprotected oral sex and various STDs. That you can target fat on a particular place of your body, like tummy fat. Fat doesn't know where it lives. Edit. I am, believe it or not, aware of the existence of plastic surgery. You don't need to tell me about it. You don't eat spiders in your sleep. I mean, there's still probably a small chance, but not as many as people like to say. Blood is blue inside your body and red when it comes out. Nope. Yeah, I live with a nurse, and she called me really stupid when I said that out loud. The idea that there are people in your neighborhood just waiting for the chance to poison your kids by giving them unwrapped Halloween candy. What is a phrase someone says that is an instant red flag? Trust me, I am not like the others. Uh-oh, looks like he's exactly like the others. Do you know who I am? I'm the Juggernaut. We are like a family here. Translation, I like to underpay my employees and meddle in their personal lives. I'm a disruptor. Okay, whatever that means. Alpha male. Let's be real. If you call yourself an alpha male out in the real world and in public, I think you deserve to be hit by a car. Is that so wrong to say? I can't be near elementary schools within 500-meter area. Yeah, of course that's a red flag, because they're also listed on a certain website. Look what you made me do! Yeah, if they're just quick to blame somebody else for their mistake, no. What's an important lesson you learned the hard way? Do not spend like there's no tomorrow. Tomorrow will come, and it won't be pretty. Never have kids with someone you don't want in your life forever. While I agree with that, it is difficult because, you might change your mind. Money doesn't exist until the deposit hits your bank account, and business promises mean nothing until legal documents are signed. Learn when to stop drinking and call it a night. This is good, yeah, that's a good thing to learn. I still haven't fully learned it. If something feels wrong, it likely is. Dental care is expensive. Never be lazy with oral hygiene. As annoying as it is to hear, yes, please do brush your teeth and preferably floss as well. Not everyone has the same heart as you do. A falling knife has no handle. Rough translation, if you see a knife falling to the ground, don't try to grab it. You can't. What is a profession that you have limitless respect for? Hospice workers, end-of-life care, and special needs workers. The people who quietly do so much for those in need, where unfortunately some have no family or loved ones to be there for them. Most do it for low pay and receive a heavy mental tax in return. Sewage workers. I mean, really, what would we do without the Mario Brothers? As a nurse, the hospital housekeepers. It's a thankless, underpaid, miserable job, but so critical to patients' health and well-being. People involved in elder care. They are grossly underpaid. Garbage men/women, lest we be buried in our own waste. I mean, we'll still get there at some point, but for now, we thank them. Janitors. Those people are unsung heroes. Electrical line workers. Those men and women go out in the worst temperatures and conditions at any time of night just to get your house its power back. What are the cons of not having kids? I mean, at least off the top of my head, I can't think of any. Cannot form military alliances. Oh yeah, that is kind of a big downside. No, like arranged marriage. It's a bummer. You aren't constantly distracted, so the existential dread creeps in. LOL. No, not LOL. It's actually very bad. Side-eye when you go to Chuck E. Cheese. Admittedly, it's kind of strange just to go to Chuck E. Cheese as an adult. The family you grew up with only diminishes in size, even so far as dying out completely. People asking you when you're having kids. I mean, you can just give them the simple answer. Never. Can't do dad jokes or make the sounds only dads make. I mean, if you practice hard enough, you can do it no problem. Potential loneliness when older. Less obvious who to pass assets onto after death. You have to get up and get your own beer. Yeah, that is a pretty big one. I'm not a big fan of that. What's something attractive people can do that ugly people can't? Anyone can ask, but attractive people are so much more likely to get help from strangers. Just a sad little twisted fact of life. Get good tips as a waitress/waiter without really trying. I have a good-looking business partner. We are constantly delegating tasks based on whether we need Sasquatch or Captain America. Those are some rough nicknames. Hopefully you got to pick them. Go out broke and come home drunk. I've had one of my friends get rejected because the girl found the best friend of that guy, me, to be too ugly. My friend got rejected because I'm ugly. Well, I mean, might have dodged a bullet there, really. Yeah, it's called the halo effect. We tend to assume attractive people are nicer and smarter. I wouldn't know. I am handsome. Source? My mom. Flirt without cringe backlash. What is a weird flex you are proud of? One of my favorite composers responded to an email I sent him asking for feedback on a cover I did on one of his tracks. It was a lengthy and insightful response, and it really did make the 6 months of working on it all worthwhile. I can squeeze my butt cheek so tight it cracks my tailbone like cracking your knuckles. I don't know if that's a flex, but yeah, good job. My class was working on a short film together with professionals, and I was an editor. I got to work with the original editor of Lego Ninjago Season 1 through 2 on my class short film. That's actually awesome. What school did you go to? I swam the gap between Sicily and mainland Italy, opening beer bottles with my belly button. Maybe it's just because I don't know the mechanics of it, but that sounds painful. A zebra bit me in my left arm. Well, why'd you let it do that? I finished 3 chapsticks in a row without losing them. Because you ate them. right? Like you ate them one after the other? I can resemble the moo of a cow rather accurately with my voice. I can't, apparently. That's the best you got from me. How would you feel if you turned on the news tomorrow and found out Donald Trump passed away? I would admittedly be a little bit happy until, the conspiracy theories roll in, and then it's just, oh god. If he passes tomorrow, this thread will be the subject of one hell of a conspiracy theory. That's what I'm saying! It's already starting! In the words of Ice Cube, I ain't gonna pop no champagne, but I ain't gonna shed no tear either. I know I wasn't, following how the lyrics are supposed to be read out, but it's whatever, move past it. Annoyed that it would dominate the news cycle for several weeks. I would be sad, cause Biden, Obama, and Trump would no longer play Minecraft together. I have never killed anyone, but I have read some obituary notices with great satisfaction. Clarence Darrow. No idea who Clarence is, but he's spitting. I would pick Putin to die first. I want to see him brought to justice for his crimes before he dies. Well, I guess we'll see what happens. Don't threaten me with a good time. What is a purchase under $50 you made that has totally changed your life for the better? $1 back scratcher. I do need to invest in one of those things. 10-foot long phone charger cord. Okay, how much was it? What if I wanted to buy that? Once I started using an electric toothbrush, I could never ever return to using a manual one. A laptop stand and external keyboard. So much less back pain. $16 panini press. Makes boring lunch sandwich into super tasty, awesome lunch sandwich. Portable battery. I love never having to worry about my phone dying. See, now the new problem is you have to worry about your portable battery being dead when you leave the house. Insoles. When you've got a job that has you on your feet all day, you owe it to yourself to get a good pair of shoes and some solid, comfortable insoles. Nose hair trimmer. Holy hell, what a difference after almost 34 years never using one. What does Japan do better than the rest of the world? Trains. Oh, how I wish we had trains. Like we do, just not good ones. Clean streets. Plan for, react to, and recover from earthquakes. Excellent food in 7-Elevens and equivalent stores. Plus, cheap beers. You had me at beers. Security of belongings in public places. Behavior of sports fans at international football tournaments. They even clean their part of the stadium after the game. Life expectancy. Heated toilet seat which washes my butt is something I didn't know I needed until Japan. That reminds me, I still gotta go buy myself a bidet. What big companies are overrated and why? Brand name jewelry stores like Zales, Kay, and Jared. You can usually find better deals at local family-owned jewelry stores or just better stuff online in general. Uber. The company burns through so much money, has never been profitable, has no moat, has a ton of competitors, banned in some countries/cities, but still has a market cap of $80 billion. Blizzard. It's crazy how loved this company used to be and where they are now. Instagram. What a hot pile. It used to be a fun app for sharing pictures and reaching new people across the world. Now it's a cesspool of ads, OF models, influencers, and massive meme accounts posting all of the aforementioned. Beats by Dre. Overpriced headphones that don't even have that good audio quality. Subway. It's incredibly expensive for basically a thing of bread. They hardly fill their sandwiches anymore. Starbucks. I can't believe people shell out that kind of money for coffee. Snapchat. Like everyone uses Insta stories now. In addition, the My AI update is SMH really creepy. My biggest complaint with the My AI thing is that I can't get it to go away. I don't want to see it at the top of my list. What are your expensive hobbies? Not really expensive, but I like to lay on the floor for a while and just kind of zone out and think about everything that's gone wrong. Learning how to fly an airplane. Plane rental plus instructor fees equal about $250 an hour. I own a Jeep Wrangler. My hobby is fixing it after every drive. Every day I'm so glad I didn't get a Jeep as my first car. Skiing. If you ignore the cost of equipment, the cost of season passes, and travel, it's not too bad. Yeah, if you ignore all of the expensive parts, it's not that expensive. Lego. Plastic crack. Pinball machines. Over 100 of them. God, to be able to own a home would be great. Fish keeping. The fish are by far the cheapest part. Living indoors and eating food. Ooh, too rich for my blood. Woodworking. I just dropped $500 on lumber just like that. It will likely sit there for a year or so until I finish the other projects first. What is something that blew your mind once you realized it? That you could legitimately travel at warp speed through the center of galaxies and never run any real risk of hitting a star. That's how spread out space really is that sharks predated the rings of Saturn. One day, I sat on a tram passing a river. There was a duck in a tree. I realized I've never seen ducks in trees. No one else seemed to notice, but I was puzzled. Now, whenever I come across something that seems intuitive but I have never considered, I call it a duck in a tree. They were colonizing the Wild West the same time as they were building skyscrapers in Manhattan. I always think of them taking place 80 to 100 years apart. It's wild. Pablo Picasso and Eminem were both alive at the same time. For a second, I thought you were gaslighting me, but I did do a quick Google, and I did think Picasso was Van Gogh because I'm not smart. Nuclear power plants are just steam power plants that use nuclear reactions to heat the water. There's no fancy magic extracting energy directly from the nuclear material. They just boil water and spin a turbine. The Roman Empire fully fell less than 50 years before the discovery of the New World. Ooh, I do not like how close certain world events are to each other. Poison dart frogs aren't poisonous in captivity. I own 5 of them, and anytime I tell someone I own some, I always get, "Do you ever lick them?" Or, "Can you go kill someone with them?" But yeah, they get their poison from what they eat, and all I give them is fruit flies. You can permanently change the price of one item to $1. What is it? Medication. That would be preferable, yeah. A $2 bill. I kinda see your point, but kind of a waste. Houses. Good. Now we're really thinking. Solar panel. It would be kinda nice if they were cheaper. The McD's dollar menu. It would also be nice if they would make the dollar menu, $1 again. Penny candy. I don't know enough about this, but the name penny candy implies that it's just a penny, so why increase it to $1? I'm probably wrong, but weird. Oil. I want to see how bad the world burns. Well, if oil cost $1, then we probably would just run out, you know? The earth has limited amounts of stuff. Cheese. Yum. Hey, no complaints here. What's something you find annoying that shouldn't be? People in the kitchen when I'm cooking. I don't know what it is, but just the presence of others when I'm trying to cook just freaks me out. Hearing strangers breathe. That kind of sounds like a you problem unless they're breathing like... People going at a normal pace when you're in a hurry. That is mildly annoying. I'm 60. Pretty much everything. I mean, I'm only in my mid-20s and I kind of agree. Cling film. I can never use it. Always tears the wrong way and sticks on itself rather than what I try to cover. Numlock being turned off on a computer. Instant rage. I mean, I don't know about rage, but it is annoying, yeah. When I make a small mistake in a text and my friend has absolutely no clue what I was trying to say, but they constantly send incoherent texts and I can always somehow understand them. Excessive wind. Like, F off, wind. I mean, like, okay. Do you ever think of ghosting everyone and then moving away to a new city/country? If so, where would you go? Grow a mustache? Move to Spain? Die. Hopefully in that order. I mean, you could always just jump to step 4 and then move to Spain. Wherever you go, there you are. Yeah, bud, that's not how you're supposed to answer this question. Every time I've wanted to do exactly this, it's been the start to a manic episode. So it is probably the better thing that you didn't follow through. A coworker of mine did that. Quit the job and off to Mexico. She deleted everything social media related. Never heard anything from her ever again. Well, hopefully she's doing good down there. Yes, but I have animals. That is a difficult speed bump for sure. I've considered it, but I don't know if my dog would go for it. I did this. Worst thing I did yet in my life, and within a year I moved back home and forgave my family. Results may vary. What is the craziest conspiracy theory that you secretly believe in? Ireland began deliberately entering bad songs into the Eurovision Song Contest in the 90s. After winning it consecutively for a few years, it began getting too expensive to host, so they sabotaged their chances of winning it. Build-A-Bear came out with a bunch of new toys that were all the same shade of yellow right after their Minion launch severely underperformed. They had stockpiled yellow fabric in anticipation of the Minion toy selling well and getting a big production run and had to find a way to use it all. That one doesn't feel too much like a conspiracy, it just feels like how they had to pivot their business. That the Kardashian sisters keep their brother chubby so they can use his fat for their injections. Oh, yikes, that's a creepy conspiracy conspiracy? Paul Pierce shit his pants during the 2008 NBA Finals. He sat on the floor, apparently injured until he was taken off the court in a wheelchair and returned minutes later completely fine. Sitting on the floor and leaving in a wheelchair stopped anybody from seeing his dookie stains. True or not, that's honestly really funny. That the weight loss industry sets people up to fail, because if their products worked, they wouldn't have return customers. Microplastics are making people dumber. But on the same side of that coin, so did lead, and a lot of the older people have it, so we're all pretty dumb. It's not the cameras. Bigfoot is blurry. I really hope this one's true, because that would be so disorienting to see a blurry creature. The reason why women's clothing still doesn't have real pockets is to sustain the entire bags industry. That's the real social movement we need, is to get women's clothing with pockets, because they've been asking for it for so long. Who would you say is the most well-known dragon? The one that banged the donkey. Does she have a name? Like, we know what she's done, but does she have a name? I'm Welsh, so for me, it's the one on our flag. Honestly, kinda jealous, because, I mean, look at our flag. Stars and stripes. Pfft, boring. Uncle Iroh. The Dragon of the West? Of course. Smaug. Probably. I mean, if you're a fan of Lord of the Rings, then yeah. Puff. Believe it or not, I don't know who this is. I might have just had a bad childhood. Spyro. I know a lot about Spyro, but I've never, finished a game, so, Komodo dragon. I guess in terms of real dragons, then yeah. Toothless. He is pretty popular, I can't lie. What are some interesting, creepy topics to look into? The amount of people that go missing in Alaska. Effing wild. Go missing. Yeah, I'm sure that's what's happening. The number of active serial killers at any given time, including right now. Black holes. The idea of a horrifying, pure black orb that completely traps even light and is so dense it is practically impossible to know what is actually inside is pretty much the definition of terror. Terror to you, maybe. I'm just curious if I can go ahead and stick my, I'm not gonna say that, actually. The universe is honestly the most creepy topic there is. We have no idea why it exists, what lies beyond it, what will happen to it in the future, and so on. It is filled with mysteries beyond our comprehension. And that's why I like to not think about it, because then I get really sad and scared. The amount of people who see him disappear in the forest, even when around others. Well, hopefully we are questioning the others in those scenarios, because there's definitely something fishy going on. How many indigenous women go missing from reservations? This just continues to instill the fear of people in me, and that sucks. Weird stuff that lives in the deep dark depths of the ocean. I'm really fascinated with what is in the ocean, but you will never catch me going in a submarine. The many real cults that exist today, both in the USA and abroad. What is something only a wealthy person would know? The phone numbers from people who could help you out of any, even bad, situations. I mean, of course, because if you're wealthy, you're probably up to some bad stuff, so you need a good lawyer. You can opt to not be on those wealthiest people lists for a price. Are those the types of subscriptions that wealthy people have to deal with? Like, I gotta pay $200 so they don't put me on the next Forbes wealthiest people list? You can rent celebrities for your private events. Not just musicians, but bona fide actors and actresses. The less help you need, the more you get. Ain't that funny how the world works? Private jets come with different size luggage compartments. I feel like you don't need to be wealthy to know that one. You just have to, work at an airport. That wealth is not what people see. It's what people don't get to see. That the most valuable asset is not things, but time. To let your money earn you money. Blah, 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 stock market, blah, 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 crypto, whatever. Where the bodies are buried. I doubt wealthy people know where the bodies are buried. They already paid somebody else to deal with that. They didn't want to, go dig a hole. Well, that was interesting. Thank you all once again for watching. My name is Brandon, and I will speak into your head another day. Bye.